Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here by another video, another topic. So last night before I went to sleep, I covered why I think, I suppose I'm following on from that topic, but I talked about why I think Catholics should support Celtic, in spite of not being Catholic myself, as I mentioned. Um, Even though I'm not too keen on Catholicism. Probably should be careful what I say, but yeah. So this is a follow-on video about how I think Catholics could support Celtic. Yeah, so here goes some of my ideas, and I'd love to hear, as ever, your ideas or opinions in the comment section. If you'd be kind enough to share them, and if you'd be kind enough to like and share this video, I'd really appreciate it. So yeah, sorry, I've sort of thought about a few ideas, but I haven't really planned it properly. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it anyway, and I hope people out there enjoy it, and as many people as possible watch, share, and like this video and support it as much as you can, and this channel, especially Celtic fans or people who might have some soft spot for Celtic. Anyway, here goes. So for one thing, I think Catholics could do is just support the team. And I think maybe I'm being naive, but I think I'm not a marketer or a brander, but I think that I don't even know the proper terms. But anyway, yeah, I'm not in marketing or branding or whatever you call people in that area. But I'm not hugely great at those areas. But I do think that the more people who support a club, the more likely the potential owners, sponsors, investors, and whatnot are going to like sponsors, especially, are going to be more likely to want to invest in or sponsor, respectively, the club. So, although it hasn't really worked out quite well for Man United at the moment, but I think generally speaking, it probably does help to have more fans around the world. So I think one thing is to support the team. And talk about Catholics supporting Celtic as well as other groups, which I hope to come to in the future. And I've talked before about in the past as well. If you check out those videos I made about Celtic, if you're a Celtic fan or you have a soft spot game for Celtic, or if you'd just be kind enough to do so. But yeah, so I appreciate all views and all that kind of thing. But yeah, so I think one of the things I'll say is to support the team, and two, as part of that, is secondly, as part of that, not necessarily in order, but I think that's obviously buying the merchandise, buying the kits and different merchandise, which hopefully will be reinvested, and hopefully the club will reassure the fans that it will be reinvested back into the club, whatever club costs a club incurs, like the cost of buying players, buying new players, academies, training academies for the youth, or things like that. So again, I talked about the reasons why I think Catholics should support Celtic, and maybe in the future. I know I said in the past I might not go around. I don't think I made a promise though, but I think in the future, like at the end of this month and maybe in February, I might even go through a list, or sometime in the future anyway, of reasons, a specific list of reasons for Catholics to support Celtic, and also how they could do so and things like that. But yeah, so I think that again, supporting the team, talking about the team, helping the team go viral and trend, giving Celtic YouTube channels views and things like that, and supporting the social media and going onto the website and things like that could potentially help the club. I think, again, maybe I'm being naive, but I think that would help the club. There's probably a reason why the club has, or clubs generally, football clubs or sports clubs generally have websites and YouTube channels and things like that. But yeah, so hopefully that will help for Celtic to go viral and trend, so people will think, oh, people are talking about Celtic a lot. So again, potential owners, even especially sponsors, would be interested in supporting the club, hopefully. I know I came up with some naive ideas in the past, and I mentioned before again whether that people sometimes think these ideas are really foolish, and maybe they are, but I'd love to prove them wrong perhaps. But I was thinking, like, if the club had like GoFundMe's and crowdfunding. But yeah, that's another way generally that Catholics could support Celtic as well, is to like invest in the club, or support the club, or fund the club, or even give the club money to buy training facilities, especially for the youth, and also buying new players and things like whatever costs a modern day club has, or even support the foundation. But yeah, hopefully my main goal would be, as a Celtic fan, is to see trophies, to see the club winning as many trophies as possible, hopefully catching up in the league this season, but especially going into the future as well. Obviously this season we've won, for those who follow football, we've won one, or those who follow Scottish football, we've won one trophy this season. Hopefully we can win at least one or two more, maybe even do well in Europe, but especially domestically. I know Scottish teams don't always do well in Europe, or very rarely do, especially nowadays with all the money involved, because the club doesn't have as much money. But again, supporting the club financially by supporting and following the club, especially on social media, buying the merchandise, possibly donating to the club, and things like that. I think those are ways, and maybe even helping the club cover some of its debts or things like that, and just generally helping the club financially, especially if it hits a hard time financially. Like a guy in the past, Fergus McCann, I think he was in banking or something like that. He had a lot of money and he invested in the club and saved the club from going bust, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a real hero of the club. He's one of the top people in Celtic's history, in my opinion, because he helped to save the club from going bust. But yeah, so I'd love to hear your ideas. Do you think they're good ideas, or that I've met? Sorry, I'd love to hear your opinions on my own ideas as well as your own ideas. Like, but also, do you think, again, opinions like, do you think having GoFundMe's, crowdfunding generally, donating to the club, maybe just giving free money, so to speak, with nothing expected in return, like specifically, like not necessarily even investing in the club, but just giving them money to buy, maybe even some Catholic charities or churches or groups could invest in the local area, like in Glasgow, and maybe even improve the image of the Catholic Church itself as well, perhaps. Uh, um, and support local people in Glasgow, or even help Celtic to have football academies across Scotland and even across the UK and across the world, even including in developing countries where they have academies. They could have academies and things like that. And again, buying players and investing in the club and things like that. So um, going back to the reason, which I think could inspire many Catholics to support Celtic. Again, even though I'm not Catholic myself, but going back to the reason is because there's a lot of hate towards Catholics from Rangers. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about my ideas, and as naive as they might be, I hope you won't be too harsh again, but maybe like if Celtic had its own bank account, which it guaranteed any money that goes in there would be spent 10% on youth development, both locally and nationally and internationally, 10% on buying players, including from overseas, or buying the best possible players, and 10% into whatever other costs of the club, whatever other costs the club incurs, and the rest could go to shareholders or investors or whatever, or even back into or into the foundation as well. That's another thing I forgot. But yeah, so obviously sponsors are going to want to have, as the club earns more money, sponsors will hopefully get a return, but obviously they're going to want a return. Sorry if I was waffling. I hope this video made some sort of sense, and again, I'd love to hear your opinions, and I'm out. Peace out.